Coming up on this episode of Tom Talks Rubbish.
It came down to where I had to put myself first and my own life. Where like it was like if I stayed where I was being told what to do and what not to do. And my channel, my YouTube channel, is something that I'm very passionate about. I've been growing. I've been putting a lot of my time into when I was at Clutch Points and like my free time, just really grinding out because I wanted to, it's a passion project. I wanted to build
Mm.
this up. And like when you're told that you can't do something that you love, that's where I'm like, well, whether it's in contract and writing or not, it's like, man, like no one can tell you what you can and can't do in life or what makes you happy.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Tom Flourish, and stand back for another interview. This time, I'm joined by someone that many of you that watch the channel will know. I've been trying to get him on for a while, and I'm really excited we were able to make it happen. I'm joined by the one and only Dante Toro from Dante on Deck. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. I'm so happy to be on. We've been trying to get this going for a little bit. Trying to get on this podcast, and I'm happy we finally got to happen, make the times work and everything. Because I'm excited to be here, talk to you about wrestling and life and stuff like that. We're gonna have a good time.
I'm really excited to chat with you, my friend. Before we get into any of your amazing work and things like that, Dante, where do you first discover wrestling as a fan?
Scrolling through my channel, my TV channel at 6 years old. It's just one of those things that just like I fell upon. I played like video games, like wrestling video games growing up, but that was just like playing Shut Your Mouth was just, oh, like this is just a fun game to play as a kid, whatever. But then I came across it on television and I started watching it. And the first match I ever saw was, I always say it's Brothers of Destruction, and I forget, it's two of Booker T, Kennedy, or Finley. It's one of two of those combinations. I forget what combination it was. I think it was Booker and Kennedy, but I watched that match on an episode of SmackDown, and after that, I was hooked. After that, it was just like, all right, I want to watch it every week. I want to watch the pay-per-views. I started collecting the action figures, getting the posters, and it just like continued, and it never ended. I think there were, that's when my fandom started, and with everyone, I think it's like you have periods of time where like you're a mega fan and then like you kind of die off a little bit, or whether the product isn't good or like you just get older or whatever. But the wrestling fandom has always been there, whether big or small, since that moment, since I started watching like 2006.
I understand what you're saying completely there. So you mentioned 2006 there. How did you get your hands on Shut Your Mouth, as that was an older game at that time?
Hey, that's a good question to ask my parents. If they allowed me to play it when I was a kid, I just remember like having just like on summer camp trips to New Hampshire and stuff like that, just having these old wrestling video games. Maybe it wasn't Shut Your Mouth, but it was one of the older like SmackDown video games that I can think of. But I remember just like on the old PlayStation 2, just like doing top rope moves with Jeff Hardy and doing like they had this one match type where you're like outside the arena, like jumping off of the building and stuff like that. And like that
Oh
stuff
yeah.
was so fun. It didn't really click to me then, but eventually it did.
When you brought up your parents there, when you want to start watching wrestling, are they open to it, or are they like, okay, we've opened a can of worms here with this
they
game?
opened a, they definitely opened a can of worms. Me coming across it on TV was definitely not on purpose. That was definitely an accident, and that bled into. I was always a SmackDown guy growing up because it was a Friday night. I didn't have school the next day, so I could stay up to watch it. And
Mm.
I would always try to sneak up and watch Raw on Mondays, and that was always a no go on a school night. I would always try to sneak out of my room and watch it at like 9:30, and that would be like, nope, you got to go to bed.
Mm. What was your biggest sort of I'm a SmackDown guy moment, if you know what I mean?
Of course, of course. My, I mean, like honestly, like what made me a fan of like SmackDown? Like what made me like SmackDown so much? Is that what you're asking?
Mm.
Yeah. Honestly, like the one of the first, like I started watching it late 2006, that match I mentioned, but I remember one of the biggest moments I remember is Edge cashing in on The Undertaker after he fought Batista in the steel cage match. That moment, I think, like, just like seeing how you see the heel side of it and you see just how like the emotions you get from it, because that was, I feel like, the first time I felt something watching wrestling like that. And that's when I was like, oh, fuck this guy Edge. Like I'm like 8 years old, 9 years, like, fuck Edge. Like I want to watch it next week so I can boo him and I want to hear what he says. Like what happened to The Undertaker? Like storylines like that is like the episode going through watching SmackDown's what got me interested, but that I think is what got me like really roped into like the stories of it and following up on things and stuff like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you talked about the following up and things like that. How long was it in your sort of watching life that you learned about the backstage stuff? Because obviously Edge got that Money in the Bank briefcase because Mr. Kennedy got injured, but they thought it
Absolutely.
was going to be worse.
Injured. He should have never lost the briefcase. He that's the biggest what if in my opinion, man. Mr. Kennedy got screwed out of that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You talk about what's it called? Him getting screwed and things like that. So when did you start to learn, Dante, about the backstage stuff?
Well, later that year, I had to learn that Vince McMahon did not die in a limo explosion. That was something that had to be explained to me because so what was it? That was June 2007. I just turned 9. A 9-year-old Dante had to be told that Vincent Kennedy McMahon did not die on live television. And also, unfortunately, a few weeks after the whole Chris Benoit tragedy happened. So it was kind of like hey, like this is real life stuff, like that's television, like it was something that I unfortunately had to get brought to light because of real life circumstances. So real life stuff is what made me have to understand the reality of what wrestling is.
Did that help or hinder your fandom in any
way? That's a good question. I never really even thought about that. I wouldn't say it hindered. I just think it like, I mean, you find out eventually, right? So it's like, if I didn't find out then, like, I can't imagine it would have taken me too much longer to realize that like it's scripted or like, it's planned out ahead of time. But I do think like, obviously being a 9-year-old and like, putting on your TV and seeing a tribute show to a wrestler and then finding out the next day, the stuff that went down, like, that's eye opening. And I think that's like, made me like separate the people from the characters and like what we're watching television. And like, these are people in real life that good or bad, whatever. And also I learned that Vince McMahon is just an absolute psycho for doing that storyline with the limousine thing. So I learned a few things during that period of time that Vince is a psycho and that wrestling is like, it's television. And then there's real life people, things that happen off screen.
You talk about the real life stuff that happens off screen. You talk about also being able to separate the art from the artist, for lack of a better phrase. So has there ever been a storyline or a wrestler that you're like, yeah, no, I'm never going to be able to connect with them because of XYZ?
Yeah, I feel like there definitely are people that like, you can appreciate the art, of course. And I think people can make this comparison from music artists, actors, and like, any world of sports entertainment. God rest his soul, Hulk Hogan, RIP. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way.
As we record this, he passed away yesterday, guys.
Yes. So we're a few months removed from this. But he was, when you think of wrestling, you think of Hulk Hogan. That it's just you can't not think of Hulk Hogan when you think of wrestling, and you think of the impact he made. And the people today, like, people are able to make money off wrestling, monetize themselves, and he brought wrestling to this whole new audience, and that's something that you can't take away from him. As a person, I wasn't a fan of him. He's done things, said things in his personal life that I don't agree with, never would agree with. So in that case, I could never like get behind him. Like when he was showing up on Raw and like people were booing him for the Netflix debut, I wasn't one to be like, you know what? Like, oh, why are these guys booing him? Like, I get it. He's did some stuff in his life that people didn't agree with. So I hate to use him as an example because that's just at the top of my head. But like, it's things like that. It's like you can understand and say that this person impacted wrestling, but you can also admit that like off screen and stuff, that person isn't as good as they're not as good as you perceive them on TV, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying completely there.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into any of your work, I'm curious to talk about where's your current fandom, Dante, as we record this in July of 2025. Where's your current sort of fandom?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all over the place, right? I mean, I just started getting into like New Japan Wrestling. I'm really diving into AEW. I was at All In a few weeks ago. I traveled there. One of the best experiences of my life. One of the best wrestling shows I've been to. But honestly, like, I don't think like I try not to think of myself as like a tribalistic fan of like I'm one fan of a company or another. I'm a wrestling fan, man. You know, like I like watching wrestling and I like critiquing it. But I'm able to separate a WWE from an AEW from a New Japan. And I'm not like saying that I'm not trying to take shots at anyone, but it's like I feel like people have a hard time separating the two. It's like you watch WWE, then you turn on AEW, you're not going to get WWE and AEW. If you're watching AEW and turn on WWE, you're not going to get AEW and WWE. You have sports entertainment and wrestling. It's two things. I think once you're able to separate them and appreciate each one for what it is, you just enjoy wrestling. And people complain about, oh, they're doing this, but they're doing this. Well, yeah, they're two different companies. They're going to do two very different things. I just like watching wrestling. You know, if WWE's on, I grow up on it. And I've had people on Twitter being like, oh, like, how can you watch this stuff after starting New Japan? I'm like, well, just because I start watching New Japan doesn't mean I'm going to hate WWE now. Like, do I think the wrestling in New Japan is better? Absolutely. But I think the sports entertainment in WWE is better. And I like watching that. I grew up watching WWE, so I'm always going to be a fan of it no matter what. But I like watching that. AEW's on. I'm going to watch Dynamite, New Japan. I was streaming the G1 Climax the other day until 5 a.m. on my YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
I picked up on that stream because I was at like 8 o'clock in the morning my time.
See, that's great. Yeah, great time for you. Bad time for me. I was exhausted probably when you were watching.
To our world in the UK.
I try my best. I want to live stream those shows as much as I can, but it is a commitment. It is a commitment. But point being is like I'm a fan of wrestling, you know, and I'm able to separate each company, and I think that's what allows me to really just enjoy all types of wrestling.
I understand what you're saying completely there. A lot of your sort of I don't want to say changes in wrestling habits. But I know what I'm trying to say. Like expanding your horizons, for lack of a better word, seemed to come after your departure from Stash Club. So, conscious effort once you left.
Honestly, dude, like me falling into New Japan and that journey, there was like really not much there was like really no correlation with me leaving Stash Club. It like genuinely, one Saturday, I think it was early June. My girlfriend was going out for the night, so she was doing her thing, and I'm just like on my couch, and I had been contemplating, getting New Japan World, the subscription service, and it was like something that, like I've seen matches on Twitter, this and that. I'm like, I have nowhere to watch it, but I know it's on the streaming service. I'm like, oh, it's $10 a month. I don't know if I want to pay for that. And then I was like, you know what? I forget. It was like a TikTok or something, but I saw something about Okada and Omega, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend the $10. I'm going to watch these matches. And if I like them, I'll keep the subscription. I'll keep watching. And boy, oh boy, the Okada and Omega, that 4-match series literally changed my perception of everything, changed my life, because now I'm just like, went down this path, this direction of other wrestling outside of WWE that I was never really exposed to, that I knew was there, but I was never exposed to. And me starting watching that wasn't like oh, I left Stash Club, I need to separate myself, make my own path. Like that was never ever the instance or anything like that. It was just I fell on it, and I fell on it, and I fell in love with it. You know what I mean? And here we are. So I'm a huge fan of it now.
What about AEW? Does that come into your fandom at all?
AEW,
obviously you were all in, but
yeah. No, I mean, when AEW started in 2019, and they got, the Dynamite deal and stuff. I would watch them frequently early on because it was different. It was, a breath of fresh air in the world of wrestling. And then as time went on, over the years, it's like I'd always keep up with it. And same kind of with WWE in my like teenage years, where like I'd always follow them on social media, so I know all the matches are happening, stories or whatever, but I wasn't intently watching. And AEW being an instance of that. Like maybe if Dynamite was on TV, I had nothing going on, I'd throw it on, but I wasn't consistently watching the product. But since I started getting into New Japan and stuff, I was like, well, AEW, I feel like I should also be whatever. And also the Okada Omega matches happening made me start watching AEW, where they announced the fifth match literally that week, the week of me watching the four matches. So I was like, if this isn't a sign, I don't know what is. So, and AEW is great. I love AEW. Like I said, All In was one of the best wrestling shows I've been to.
It was one of
It
the
really
best
is.
wrestling shows just sitting on my couch, man. In
Oh
my
my God, man. It's 7.5 hours long. You wouldn't have even thought that. Like
It
it
felt
just
like
flew
free.
by.
Honestly, it felt
Dude,
like free.
I said to my cousin who had never been to he never watched an AEW show, never been to an AEW show. And he was like, I said to him, like, there is no company that can pull off an 8-hour show like that than AEW. Like for them to do that and like to keep it entertaining the whole time and not like there wasn't a time I was in the arena and be like, oh, it's 6, 7 o'clock. We gotta get out of here. Like I'm getting tired. Like, no, I was like, damn, we got 3 matches left. Let's go. Like we still got 3 matches. AEW is great. It's really is a breath of fresh air for like televised wrestling. Like having that as an option is so good to have.
You mentioned your cousin and your girlfriend uh,
Hmm.
previously. I,
Yeah.
I know that you are starting to bring your cousin on for a podcast. I've
Yes,
forgotten
I
the name,
am.
which is really unprofessional. I do apologize. I
No,
should have.
hey, this is your podcast. We don't have to be talking about my podcast. Don't worry about it.
So, but then you also do videos where your girlfriend, who's a non-wrestling fan,
Yes.
reacts to stuff. So,
Yes.
first of all, first of all, how did you approach that with Taylor and like say, would you do this? How did those videos come about?
Well, that's a great question. I appreciate that. She's hey, I mean, she understands how much I enjoy wrestling and what I'm trying to build on my channel.
Mm.
And she is such a great sport about like most nights of the week we'll have wrestling on the TV in the living room because we're just like, she gets home from work, she does her things to relax, she's on her phone, watches her shows, and we'll have like I'll have the wrestling on the screen and
Mm.
she's intent. I can't say her eyes are on the screen the whole time, but she pays attention, she remembers names, she picks up on things, so she makes a good effort to like learn the product and stuff. And with the channel, I think it just comes down to like, she likes doing it. She likes seeing, we did the one video. The first one we did was like guess the wrestler,
Mm.
and it did extremely well. And she saw that and was like, like if those videos do well, I want to keep doing them. I want to help, the channel. People love her. People always ask for her. So I always say to her, I was like, it's your call. I was like, if you don't want to do this, like I don't I swear to God, I don't force her to be a part of anything. It's like it's all willing, you know what I mean? I was like, if you don't ever want to be a part of something, like that's totally fine. But she loves it, and she loves taking the quizzes. She loves learning. We did a is this storyline real or fake video, and
Yeah, yeah,
she
recently.
she had a she had a ball going over, like reading those and like guessing if they're real or fake. So no, she's into it. I wouldn't say she's a full blown wrestling fan, but I think she's graduated from the non wrestling fan title. You know what I mean?
A casual fan, maybe.
A cat, yeah. Just right about as a casual fan. Yep.
What about your cousin? How did that come about that he was going to be your podcast co-host?
So that genuinely was just an idea that popped in my mind when me and my girlfriend were coming home from a bar last week. We went to All In. My cousin is he's in his mid 30s, so he's been in wrestling, like he's like Attitude Era, like he's Mick Foley's on his Mount Rushmore, like Jim Ross is his like childhood hero growing up and
Mm.
stuff. Um, and he has a son. My little cousin is 6 years old, so he's been getting into wrestling over the last few years. So they've been going to like shows and all this stuff, all these WWE shows, but he'd never been to an AEW show. And
Mm.
All In was in Texas. He's from Houston, so I mentioned it to him. I was like, hey, like there's this wrestling show happening. Like I plan on going. Like I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. I know you don't watch it. If you if we want to make a plan, sure. And he was like, yeah, like let's get tickets, we'll do it, whatever. And we did. And I vlogged it. I'm very happy I vlogged it. But man, it like watching someone that has never watched that product and experience that in person, like All In, like this is his first AEW show. Like that's crazy. Capping off with the Texas Death Match, excuse me. It was so awesome watching him just absorb all of that, and for him to walk out of that show being like, "Oh, I'm an AEW fan now." Like he's been sending me TikToks every day since All In. Like he's always sending me videos, articles, and stuff. And like so, I do my podcast, my wrestling podcast, break it down, and it's like with podcasts, I feel like naturally people like two people like bouncing off each other,
I
whatever.
hate
Like
doing
it's
solo videos. I hate it.
I'm used to it, right? It's like that's what I do. But like when it comes to like podcasts and giving ideas and thoughts and stuff, I just always feel like people would like it more if there was two people involved. So after All In and stuff, I thought of it. I texted my cousin. I was like, hey, like, would you be down to hop on this? We can do it together. And immediately he was like, I already got this set up. I already got this. Like, let's pick a day, whatever. And he immediately was on board with it. So we're actually filming for the first time this upcoming Sunday, July 27th. So a few months before this video comes out. But I'm excited because it's a new perspective. Like I'm 27, he's 34. So he has a few years on me. He has a different perspective on fandom. He was a WWE fan growing up, not too much in the world of AEW New Japan now. So that's where I can kind of bring in, something different. And I think just our thoughts and our opinions on different generations, eras are really going to mesh well, bounce well off each other. My cousin's the best. He has the best personality of anyone you'll talk to. So
He's
I think
very
it'll go great.
energetic. I watched
He's very, very animated, very energetic, just he can talk. So I'm excited to be doing it with him.
That's really, really cool. We bought a podcast there, Dante. I was trying to think of a segue for this, but I can't think of one. So I'm just gonna go for a new. Actually, yeah. Which brings me to what culture wrestling and things like that.
There we go. We go.
How did it feel? Because I'd seen Andy Murray checking out your journey, for lack of a better word, growing as a wrestling fan. So how did it feel to turn on a video one day and hear your name mentioned?
Bro, I mean, things like that, like to people like Andy, like that's such a little thing, you know what I mean? That's like in passing him talking about that, but like for someone like me who like I can't even explain like growing up watching What Culture and like the top 10 lists and the reviews, like I feel like a lot of like what I do and like my content creation mind stems from pages like that, Cultaholic, What Culture and stuff. Like I grew up on those guys. Like I really do feel like in a way like I am a content creator and a wrestling content creator because of those people. Like they paved the way for people like me, and I will always, give them their respect.
Well.
Yeah, I feel like they did that for a lot of people. I think they really do deserve their flowers in that. But to be mentioned again, like to him, that's just in passing. But for me to like be like, yo, like people were tweeting at me, you got mentioned in What Culture, you got mentioned in what? I'm like, is this real? People were sending the link. I'm like, where is it? And like I remember watching it and I just like screen recorded it and then like I paused it after and I just like sat there and it was like one of those things where it was just like, damn, like I like what I'm doing in my life right now, like got me recognized by a channel that I've idolized my whole life. And like again, like that's such a surreal feeling. And then I tweeted at Andy, we followed each other and stuff like that. So like really awesome dude. Things like that, man, are things I don't take for granted. And it's a good reminder for me to remember, like, I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? If I'm getting mentioned by people that I look up to. And I mean that in the most humblest way possible.
I know what you mean, exactly.
But it's just like, that's one of those things where I'm like, okay, like, I gotta be, if I'm doing 99 things wrong, I'm doing one thing right. That's leading me to this,
Right. I've sort of skated around this for as long as I can. And I know this is what people are going to want to talk about. So
hey, let's do it.
Before we get into why you left Stash Club and things like that, how did you and John first connect and start Stash Club?
So we worked at a company called Lumberland back in 2021. I got started there. It was a bat mug company, just a product company. It's like, I don't know if you're familiar with Lumberland, but it's like, think of like a baseball bat. You cut it in half, hollow it out, and you drink out of it. Turn it, make it into a bat
Yeah,
mug. And they made other products too. But um, I got started there. I believe I was the fourth media member hired or third media member hired. It was Casey, Johnny, and then me. And then once I got hired, we started hiring a ton of people for the media team because they wanted to make a social media team and like posting videos and stuff. And then John was one of those people that came to Lumberland. I got a job at Lumberland, and it was always one of those things where like early on, like I was like, we had such a big audience. Like by the time, because Lumberland ended, we all got laid off and stuff. The company went
mm,
under. At our peak, we were at like 2.5 million followers on TikTok. 100 something thousand on YouTube, or 50, 100,000, whatever it was. We had a big audience, and it was just like we were just shooting the shit, talking about nonsense in sports. I was like, I feel like there's got to be a wrestling audience. I was like, I feel like there's something there, but like we never tapped into it. And then me and John, one day we were like, wait, like you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan. Like, let's see if we can do something. And then I think the first video we did was guess the wrestler by the theme song, and like overnight it blew up, and that's how it came to be. In that Lumberland, we were Mustache Bros, and then things went under. I got a job at Clutch Points shortly after everything ended with Lumberland. And after a few months, talking to my boss, I was like, hey, like me and my friend John, we had this wrestling channel that was amazing. We were like picking up steam. It was going so well, and we had to end it. Like that we had no choice. I was like, if we give John a job here, we can recreate that and then some. And that's what we did. And that we got John a job. We started Stash Club, and yeah, that's how it all came to be. Just through former employment and getting to know each other through work.
mm. How did it then? How long had you been thinking about leaving before you left?
I wasn't. It was a situation, unfortunately, that was quickly brought onto me. It all came down to business differences I had with people at Clutch Points, not John. And I was put in a position where my hands were tied. And it was one of those things where, without getting into too many details about like, what went on behind the scenes or anything, but like it came down to where I had to put myself first and my own life, where like it was like if I stayed where I was being told what to do and what not to do. And my channel, my YouTube channel, is something that I'm very passionate about. I've been growing. I've been putting a lot of my time into when I was at Clutch Points, and like my free time, just really grinding out because I wanted to, it's a passion project. I wanted to build
Mm,
this up. And like when you're told that you can't do something that you love, that's where I'm like, well, whether it's in contract and writing or not, it's like, man, like no one can tell you what you can and can't do in life or what makes you happy. And if like something that makes you so happy is taken away from you, or you feel like is being taken away from you, that's when I had to do something about it. And again, my hands were tied. I never wanted to leave. There was never I didn't have this plan of like leaving or nothing. Like I was content where I was, whatever. But when business came about, I had to make the hardest decision of my life. It was not easy. I thought about it. I prayed on it for so long, for a good week after I had, the initial conversation with my boss. Talked to numerous friends and family, people that support me and give me, what I think is great advice, and wouldn't, tell me things to, make me happy, like, give me actual advice of like, this is, the smart thing to do, whatever. And after, talking to people and, going over everything myself in my head, I decided to leave. And unfortunately, making decisions like that hurts other people, and I
mm,
understood that. Um, and it's unfortunate how things play out, and I wish it didn't play out that the way that it did, but it did. Um, and it's like, again, it's like I put myself first, and I will never not put myself first. This is my life. This is your life. Like in what you do in life, you do something
yeah.
that you love, you follow it, you pursue it, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because we all have one life to live here. And it's like, if you're not doing something you love, then you're wasting your time. So I had to make a decision for myself to put myself first, and I don't regret it. I'm so happy where I am in my life right now. Like mentally, personally, just like where I am with the channel, growing it, like I'm building it up. I'm working towards something. I'm seeing the growth every day. And it's like, that's what I love. And it's like, I'm doing it myself. And it's like, it's just me, myself, and I. And that's a lot of pride I have where it's like, I'm doing this on my own and like in the humblest way possible. Like I pat myself on the back. It's like, I work, I work a lot to try to build this up and stuff. So it's a sacrifice I made. It's a sacrifice, I knew this was what I was getting into, but again, I had to put myself first, and that's all it is. Unfortunately, business gets in the way of some things, but unfortunately, that's just what it is.
Mm. Did they tell you then that if you want to keep doing Stash Club, you got to get rid of Dante on deck?
It was something along those lines. It was just like you can't do certain content on your channel, you can't do this and that, and it's like I get it, but like I'm doing stuff that makes me happy, and other people like it, and it genuinely brought me true happiness working on my own thing. Like that was that like the happiest I had been was working on my own channel and grinding my own things. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've had my Twitter account since I was in college, and I built that up over 40,000 followers. And my YouTube channel, I've always wanted to have my own channel and make my own content. And like that was something I was so passionate about. And like it took me a while to like get things going, and then I finally got things going. And then it was like, hey, you stop this. And I was like, well, I love this. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm
Yeah.
passionate about and what I'm really, really passionate about. So it hurt, having that conversation, but I understand the business side of things. I 100% get it. But personally, I had to do what was best for myself and put myself first.
You mentioned there that like you got a lot of different perspectives when
Hmm.
you were debating leaving Stash
Sure.
Club. What was like Taylor's conversation, if you're willing to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, me and her have been together for like 2.5 years now, almost 2.5 years. And it's like, me and her, we're in it for the long run. It's like from the day that we met, it was like we knew that we were going to be together forever. Like we found each other and whatever. And through everything that we do in life, whether it's her work, my work, we're going to support each other no matter what. And we live together. So she sees everything. She sees me most times of the day. She sees me at my best. She sees me at my worst. And she saw how much it affected me and how upset I was about not being able to do my thing. And it's like, when someone that you love or care so much about is hurting like that, you want to, she wanted to support me in any way, being like, you're not happy, do what you love, we're going to figure it out. And that's what it is. It's like, I wouldn't also have made a decision where it's like I left, I'm like, okay, now we're fucked, like money wise or anything like that. Like I would never put like, and that's a conversation we had. Like, I would never put ourselves in a situation where like financially, like we're trying to get by. Like fortunately for me, I was in a good enough place where like, I knew it was going to be a little slow burn to get things going, but I'm okay. I was like, I'll be okay. But no, there wasn't a single thought or word that came out that was like trying to get me to do something I didn't want to do, if that makes sense. Like she, from the
Yeah,
very
yeah,
beginning,
definitely.
she was supportive. She was like, whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. She gave me her 2 cents, which is like, it was a similar thinking what I was thinking. But no, she was just like, you do what you want, you do what makes you happy, and we'll figure it out. Pat, we'll figure it out. Things will fall in place, and they have, and they are.
Oh,
So
definitely, man. You're
it's just
smashing it.
about it's taken a thank you. It's about taking a leap of faith and having confidence. And the most dangerous thing a person can have is confidence. And I have a lot of it. I have a
Mm.
lot of confidence in myself. I always have. So it's like I've never had a doubt or disbelief that like what I'm doing isn't going to work. Like
Mm.
I can't think that way. I have to wake up every morning thinking this day is going to be better than yesterday. We're going to get here. We're going to grow today. We're going to do this, that, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Like I want to be 1% better every single day, and always improving. And I think that's just like what it is. It's like just trying to get better at everything and every aspect every day. I know I'm kind of rambling right now, but
No, 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 no.
it's just like, I really, I take pride in, working hard and building something, and like, and seeing the responses of people, man. It's like when I was at All In, like I lost count of the amount of people that came up to me and just like told me how much they appreciated, what I do. And people that tell me there are people that tell me they got a New Japan World subscription because of me, and they started
Oh,
watching that
wow.
stuff, because that is like, when I tell you, Tom, like that is the best compliment I could ever get. Like that, and being like, you got me into wrestling, which was something that me and John would get early on, like Stash Club and stuff. Like those are the best compliments. And I was at a TNA taping in Rhode Island last night, and I took pictures of like 5-6 people, and it's like, that's so cool, man. And it's like, for people to like, recognize me, but not from my former employment, be like, oh, I love your stuff that you do now and everything like that. Like that is the coolest thing ever. I appreciate it. Like I take those things to heart, and like those are things I'll never I try not to lose sight of, and I'm always grateful of. Again, sorry that was long winded. I
No,
think I went
I
way
love it.
past the question. I went way past the question.
As a podcaster yourself, you know the most challenging thing is to ask questions. So when somebody's going on, you use this word, so I'm going to say it. When somebody's rambling, it helps.
Yeah, no, I'm a rambler. I'm a rambler, 100%.
That's really cool, man. I know you and John aren't on good terms, but if you could have one more conversation with him, what would you say to him?
I wish things ended better and differently. Do I think I could have handled things better? Sure. But ultimately, like, I wish it was an understanding that it wasn't anything personal, and it was business. And, again, making decisions that put yourself first, or like for yourself, you're going to hurt others. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to be, a pretty exit. And like, one thing too, and I never really talked about this, but like, people were upset I didn't give like a final goodbye. I didn't say a final goodbye or something like that. But that really wasn't like my doing. It was like I had a falling out with my company and stuff. And it was just like, at that point, I was like, I don't want to work for them anymore. And it's like, I don't want to, it wasn't like I don't want to give John a last episode or Stash Club fans a last episode. It was like, I was done working for this company, and I was just like, I was done. I was like, I don't want to like do anything else associated with Clutch Points. And that was it. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously I wish him and, Stash Club, where they're at now, nothing but the best. It's nothing but, love. There's no ill will by any means. It's just business decisions turned personal, and I wish it didn't go that way. But in life, unfortunately, things like that happen. So, yeah, I mean, a last conversation, if I could say, I'd be like, I wish we could sort things out and, be friends or whatever, but it's a tough situation. And I understand why he was upset with me. Like, it's not that I wasn't understanding. Like, I get it. It was an abrupt thing. I wish it didn't go down the way that it did, but it did. And here we are. So
I understand what you're saying completely there. So you do it all, Dante. You do podcasts, you do videos, you do everything in between. How do you deal with burnout, man, as a creator? Because you must be on the go 20 hours a day.
I got back from TNA last night at 12 o'clock, and I was editing videos till 2 a.m. You have to love what you do, man. It's a grind. The burnout is real, and that is definitely something that I had to learn early on, is to slow down. I think it was the very first month of me doing things solo, and it was I think it was like Mother's Day weekend or something like that. I went home to see my Easter. I think it was Easter, and it was WrestleMania weekend. I had just streamed the night before. I was editing a video that morning, filming whatever, and that's when like my parents like could see like, are you good? And I was like, oh, I'm exhausted. They're like, you need to we working hard is great, and you want to work hard, but like you need to not kill yourself. So I've had to, I've taken time to like I try not to be too hard on myself, where like I work hard, I get things done and stuff, but like at the same time, if like I'm burnt out, if I'm tired and I'm like, I can't keep going, I'd rather stop myself than film a video that I'm not giving 100% towards, or editing a video that I'm giving 100% towards. Because that's everything I do, I want to give 110%, not even 100%. I want to give 110%. And if I'm burnt out and I feel like I can't give that, then it's not going to be good content. So I've had to, I've had to, sit back, and there are times like I'm just going hard and I just like sit back, I'm like, whoa, like you're doing too much right now. And sometimes I just need like, I'd say a day off. I can't tell you the last time I've taken a day off, but like just like even like a half a day to like go to the movie theaters and like sit down and watch Superman or something like that. Just to like clear my mind or whatever. And I have my dog at home, Tony, with me. So like, I take him out, we go on walks and everything, and that kind of gives me time to, get my break in and get some exercise in too. But to all content creators, you including, like, when it comes to burnout, like, it's real, and I'm sure you've experienced it many times
Oh yes.
before and everything, like it's something that it's what you sign up for. And when I made the decision to leave Stash Club, I knew this was all going to happen, but I accepted it. And I like taking things head on the chin, and I like a challenge. And I've never had a challenge like this in my life where like I'm working as hard as I am building towards something, but I love it. I'm addicted to it. I love the grind. I
Mm.
love seeing growth. I love seeing the numbers go up. I love seeing the comments from people. And again, like meeting people out in public, that's the fuel that keeps me going. Because it's like,
Yeah.
if I'm making this content and like people aren't responding to it, people aren't leaving positive comments, people are saying this shit sucks, then it's like, okay, then maybe I'm not in the right field, right? But having people come up to me and be like, say those things like you got me back into wrestling, you got me subscribed to New Japan, or just whatever, like that to me is like, that's all I need. That's
Mm.
the only justification I need from people to remind myself that what I'm doing, I'm doing something right. So um, burnout is real, but there's also fuel that keeps the fire going. And I give all the credit to my fans, people that have supported me from back in the Lumberland days or whatever. Those are the people that keep me going and make this like, exciting for me.
You brought up your fans there. I'm curious to
Mm-hmm.
know, did you have anyone that was like, sorry, dude, if you've left Stash Club, I can't
Tom,
support you.
more than you think. I will say, the immediate backlash of it, because Sashko put out their video first, about me leaving, because I didn't know if I was able to legally contractually put out a video yet. So I didn't. Then I saw they posted one. I was like, okay, now it's my turn. But like that initial like hour or two in between, and even afterwards, like people say nasty things online, and
Oh
I
yeah.
have thick skin. From my other employments like Lumberland, we had 2.5 million TikTok followers, and there were a lot of keyboard warriors on TikTok, and that's why I like calling them, because there are people
They'd
that
never
say
say it to
things.
your face.
Oh, Tom, it's like people that say these things over a keyboard would never say them to your face, and it really is. It was eye opening to me. It was something I always kind of knew, but like that moment was like where I realized that there were some people that looked at me as just pure entertainment than as a human being, because people were upset about, oh, the content, like we're not going to be getting our quizzes anymore. More so like, oh, I hope Dante's doing good. I hope like everything's okay.
Mm.
Like they immediately jumped on the, oh, fuck this kid. Like he's not like, if we're not getting quiz stuff, like screw him, whatever. And even to this day, I'll still get comments here and there on videos being like, "You leaving was stupid. Like you're a sellout. Like your stuff sucks compared." Like there, and I get comments from the other side of things as well. But it's like I, I don't. People are gonna say what they say. I can't stop people from saying that. It's just I don't take it to heart, because it's like it's just bullshit. At the end of the day, there were days, especially early on, where I will admit it did get to me, and it
Mm.
was like it can be overwhelming, especially when it's like a lot at once. And and everything initially happened, I mean, it was like my life was being just shared online, and like
Mm.
looking up like Dante, it's like everyone was talking about it, people were having opinions and stuff, and it's like, when did my life become publicized for everyone, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's like, but I understood that's what I signed up for in the world of, YouTubing and stuff. We had a big following, like people cared about us, and that's great. And for the people that cared about me, be like, I hope you're doing well, put yourself first, like I'll support you in whatever you do as long as you're good. Like those are the people that I appreciate so much. And there are some people that support me and don't support Stash Club. I'm like, hey, like, you can support both. There's no issue. Like it's not this isn't like WWE versus AEW. You know what I mean?
Remember
This
this
isn't.
big divide? This conversation opened up again. You sort of opened up a conversation that the What Culture guys seem to have when they left for Cultaholic. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%,
Very
dude. It's like,
similar.
listen, I'm not leaving a company and being like, don't support them, only support me. Like, no, like, still support them. Like, they do great stuff. They're going to continue to do great stuff. And, even though I don't keep up with the content, I'm going to support them. Again, there's no ill will or anything like that. But you can be a fan. You can watch Stash Club and then my stuff. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose one or the other. If it's like you don't like me and you choose not to watch me, sure. But if it's like one of those things like I can't support this person, so I'm going to watch this and blah blah blah. That's where I'm just like, all right, well, we can. You don't have to do all that. You can be a fan of both. But yeah, no, I think that there's nothing wrong with supporting both sides of it. There isn't.
Hmm. Did you give any thought to like a new look when you left Stash Club of like shaving the beard and shaving the
Listen,
scalp?
I've had the mustache look going since Lumberland. So if any, I didn't really get any flack for that. But like if I did, I'd be like, wow, listen, like it's facial hair, all right. Like I've had a I'm growing it out a little bit right now. I forgot to bring my razor home with me, but like I've had the mustache look going for a little bit. So I didn't really get much of that. But if I did, I'd be like, listen, there's no copyright over a mustache facial look, you know. I could have whatever facial hair I want. There were some people that didn't, because I had my old YouTube plaque for Stash Club in the background, and there were some people that are like, oh, like you have that in the background, but like you left. So like that was something like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this to the side just so people can not talk shit about that. That I think that was like the only thing that people like called out for like appearance wise, if that makes sense, or a part of my
Oh,
setup.
definitely, yeah.
Hmm.
Are you
And
proud?
it'll look even better. It'll look even better when I get my own 100,000 plaque. I'll have
Yeah, I
that
was just
hanging up
gonna
on the
say that.
wall.
Are
Yeah,
you proud you got Stash Club to 100,000 over 100?
more than proud, bro. I mean, that's where I give all my credit to like where I am now. I give credit to Lumberland, Stash Club, and stuff. Like I wouldn't be where I am without being at those places. And me and John, we built up something so great there. And I'm always going to be proud of what we did, how far we got together, and what we were able to accomplish. And yeah, I mean, hitting 100,000 was like 100,000 people are subscribed to it. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of people
I
just to
always use
watch
the dinner
two guys.
analogy. If you had 100,000 people around for dinner,
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Overwhelming to think about, but like it's such a cool feeling knowing that many people like care and everything. And even though I'm not there now and I don't have the 100,000 on my channel, it's like, it's I'm looking forward to growing and, hitting those milestones on my own where I'm doing it on my own. And it's going to be a different sort of feeling of like proud. Like I'm always going to be proud of Stash Club, but I think this is something when I get to that goal, because I know I will. Again, I have more confidence in the world. Like I know I'll hit 100K one day. Like that's going to be something that I wouldn't say appreciate more, but appreciate differently because I did it on my own, if
mm,
that makes sense.
it totally does, man. Quickly, before we sort of do my wrap up questions, because
Hmm.
we've been talking almost an hour, man, and I do want to be respectful of your time.
No, hey, we're having a good time, so I had no worries.
I have a very self indulgent question. As a phenomenal
Okay.
podcaster yourself and things like that, what did you enjoy about this conversation? Where can I improve? Everything in between.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, you asked great questions. There were multiple times where you asked me a question. I was like, wow, I never really thought of that before. So you ask amazing questions. I keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's like it's a repetition. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. I think it's what you're doing, the questions that you ask, and how you're able to listen to your guests and let them talk. Like when I ramble and stuff like that, which I appreciate. That's what I think people appreciate. I don't like hop on as guests. Like I don't know the last time I've like if I've ever done a podcast where, like I'm talking about personal stuff before. Um,
That's why
but
I
like
was
getting
very
those.
surprised when you agreed to do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I have no issue doing something like that. I've just never done. I've never been asked to do something like that before. But like you putting in the time to like research certain questions, to talk about my cousin Kyle, Taylor, and stuff, and to let me listen while I ramble, like that's the best thing you can do because you listen to someone talk, and that's where you pick up some more questions. Like, oh, you mentioned this, let's jump into this, and that's what keeps the conversation flowing past the stuff that you already had pre-made. And I think in a podcast, like in an interview setting, the best conversations or questions are one that you come up with during the episode itself, not ones that you have pre-made. But now, man, I think for you, like you were telling me before, this episode isn't even coming out till September. So you've been grinding, you've been putting in the work. Keep doing you, bro, because the more you do it, you just keep getting better and better and better. You're gonna naturally conversation, talking to people, it's gonna flow better over time. You're gonna come up with some better like I'd say come up with better questions, but the questions you asked were phenomenal. So I don't know how much better they can get. But no, I don't really think I have like advice like, oh, I like you should like whatever. Like you did everything great. This was so much fun. Like I didn't even realize we've been going for an hour until you mentioned it. And I think that's also a cool thing where you can just talk and you lose track of time, but like it doesn't feel like we were talking for an hour. So my dude, keep doing what you're doing. Don't tell me if I have anything to critique you over because I don't. Like you did a phenomenal job, and I'm happy I hopped on.
I really appreciate that, man. As we wrap this up, I have
Absolutely.
2 questions for you before we sort of do my traditional generic questions wrap up segment.
Okay.
Define success, Dante, and do you view Stash Club as a success and Dante on Deck as a success?
Another great question. How do I define success? How do you define success?
Am I happy? Which I think has been a big thing for this conversation.
And Tom, you took the words right out of my mouth. To me, you're successful if you're happy. And you're successful if you are making other people happy and you are putting a smile on people's face. Because at the end of the day, man, we're on this, we live this life for as long as, whenever our timer runs out. And you want to make an impact, at least to me, like, I'm not trying to get into when I want to be remembered as this and that, but like, I want to be someone that, a content creator that, made the wrestling content, people gravitate towards that. But I also want to be someone that, when someone approaches me at an event or something, like I want to take the time out of my, these people take the time out of their day to watch me, to support me. The least I can do is talk to these people, get to know them, have a conversation with them. Like, and some people are like, hey, nice to meet you. Keep up the good work and keep walking. But there are some people that, want to have conversations. And dude, I was at All In Texas last week, and I was hanging out with this fan. I was hanging out with Austin, this fan of mine, for like 2 hours, 2-3 hours at the bar that night. It's like it's like I like to give back to the people that support me. It's like I always say, like if I'm at shows and stuff, like don't hesitate. Like there are people like I saw you at All In, but I was too scared to say something. Don't be scared. Like come up, say hi. Like let's talk about wrestling, life, whatever. And yeah, it's like that to me is what success is. If I'm able to put a smile on people's faces, whether it's on YouTube or in person, I just want myself to be happy and to make other people happy. And the second one, do I think Stash Club and Dante and Deck are a success? Yes, because I think both of those things bring happiness to people, whether it's the quizzes, then they can play with their friends, they're playing with us, make it sound like, they're interacting with people, or my channel that, they support what I do. I think both are successes in their own ways, but as long as you're happy and you're able to do what you want to do and you're getting by, that's what success is. I don't think money, there's no price tag on success, because at the end of the day, when we leave this planet, we're not walking away with any money. It's about how you impacted and how you left your mark on other people's lives. That's what success is.
That's really, really cool, man. Just quickly, you brought up quizzes there. So how did it come about as the great man that helped us connect and things like that? Kevin J. Callis of Wrestle Trivia. How did you decide I'm gonna react to his videos? Like, how did you decide like I want to react to his videos?
So there was I'm not going to remember who it was, but there was someone, a subscriber, that commented on one of my videos saying like, "Hey, there's this guy Kevin that does these Jeopardy videos. You should check it out sometime." Like, okay, I checked it out, looked at his channel, saw he had all this stuff. I'm like, oh wow, this is like, watched a few videos. I'm like, this is really great stuff. And I messaged him on Twitter, gave him a follow on Wrestle Trivia, his Twitter account. I was like, hey man, like someone left this suggestion under my video about these videos. I was like, I don't want to like step on toes and, like take your content or whatever, but like I would love to play along, post on my channel. And obviously, I give him shout outs, tag all of his stuff, whatever. And he was like, yeah, like, dude, please, like, here. He sent me a link. He was, here, play this one. Like, he's like always suggesting ones for me to play. So yeah, it was just like basically going off of a comment on YouTube, and then we actually met all in Texas because he went to the show and stuff. He was in my section. He was in my section, so we got to spend some time together. Amazing dude. Love Kevin. He is the absolute man. We really connected. Him, my cousin Kyle too as well. We were bonding over Disney trips, Disney cruises, traveling with family and stuff. So me and Kevin are definitely gonna, we have each other's numbers now. We keep in touch, and me and him definitely plan on doing future shows, doing things and stuff together. Really, really cool dude. But yeah, no, it was just basically, hey, check this channel out. I did. I liked it. Reached out to him, and the rest is history.
That's really, really cool. Just quickly before we do generic questions, what do you think your legacy is, Dante?
God, what is my legacy? I don't think I have a legacy yet. I don't think a legacy is defined until I think my legacy won't be defined until I feel like I need a few more years under my belt in this profession, because I feel like I'm still so new in content creation and stuff. Like my channel, I started in January, November, December, or something like that. So at night, like 6 months, 7 months now, and even with Lumberland and Stash Call, like that was 2021. It's only 4 years ago. Some of these guys, like What Culture, Cultaholic, have been doing this for 10 plus years, and more than that. I don't think I have a legacy yet. I think, but that's something to work towards. Where like, what do I want my legacy to be? I think to answer that question is I want to be the guy that made good content, but people gravitated towards, related to, and looked at as a better person than I want to be remembered as a better person than I was a content creator. And I think that's the legacy I'd want to leave behind. I'm not there yet though. And I think, but having that to work towards and build towards is motivation. So I don't have an exact answer for you, but
no, but that's really
I know what I know what I want my legacy to be. But I'm still 27. I'm still so young, and I have so many goals, so many things I want to accomplish. And then once I accomplish those things, there are going to be more things I want to accomplish. And maybe when we get to that point, we could talk about legacies. But for now, I'm just focused on building up my brand, myself, being the best person I can be in life to anyone, and just being a good person. That's all I try to do. So, and be 1% better every day. If there's one piece of advice I want to give to anyone, is always strive to be 1% better every day, and it can be in any aspect, whether it's like a certain skill, certain a relationship with someone, whatever. Like, try to be 1% better every day, because I think you always need to have a motivation to grow and whatever it is, and be the best possible version of yourself. And every day I try to be better. I like to think that I do get a little better every day, but I don't think I'll ever be like, I'll always try to be a better person till the very last day. You know what I mean? So
that's a beautiful way to end this, man. But before we do, we are going to do that is a staple on this channel called generic wrestling questions. Those of you that have seen my interviews before will know that's why I'll ask Dante his favorite match, favorite pay-per-view card, such as Double or Nothing 2019, for example, favorite wrestler's entrance team, favorite tag team, and favorite wrestler of all time. Basically, the questions I assume, man, you're asked on social media or in so now you'll have a place to be like, guys, I have answered this. Please go watch.
Stop asking. Yeah, go back to this and watch this, so I don't have to keep answering. Okay.
So what's your
let's think about it.
My friend?
Favorite match is Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardys, WrestleMania 17 triple threat ladder match. hands down, that is the one match I will show any fan. Like if you're like this is my favorite match. You want to watch just hecticness. You want to watch just guys risking their lives for the love of the game. That's the match I suggest. That is my all-time favorite match.
That's really, really cool. What about your favorite overall pay-per-view card, my friend?
Overall pay-per-view card. Let's say, I mean, All In was great. All In was great, but I feel like this is one of those things where like I'm gonna give you an answer, but it's like something I might think about a little bit more, and I might have a better
And then
answer.
I'll
But
get a
for now,
DM with a different answer.
yeah, for now, I'm gonna say WrestleMania 40 because I
Mhm.
was there for it, and it was 2 nights, and just like the atmosphere and just like being a part of it. Like, was every match the best match in the world? No, but like just to experience that live and like it was my first WrestleMania. That's something I would never trade, and I thought was the coolest thing ever. So I'll say WrestleMania 40 as like a tentative answer, but like that might be something that like that might change. You know what I mean?
Mm. What about your favorite wrestler's entrance theme, my friend?
This Fire Burns by CM Punk, his first WWE theme song. I think This Fire by Killswitch Engage is every single year Spotify top five, Spotify Wrapped. It is consistently in my top five. I listen to that song when I'm driving, when I'm at the gym, white noise. If I'm like that song is like embedded in me, like it is like in my bloodstream. It when they played the intro to it before his WrestleMania entrance, where there was like the piano of it and it
Oh
was like the build
yeah.
up, bro. I almost was brought to tears. It was pulling out heartstrings. Like Cult of Personality fits him so well, but This Fire is the best song ever. It's the best.
That's really, really cool. And then what about your favorite tag team, my friend?
Well, I think I can answer both tag team and wrestler for you. I can make two birds, one stone here. It's the Hardy Boys, and Jeff Hardy is my favorite wrestler of all time. It's just icons, man. Jeff Hardy is, and I went to TNA last night. I'm going to TNA again tonight. It's in Rhode Island,
Ooh.
and the Hardys were there, and I cosplayed him. I have the pants, I had the tank top, I have the arm sleeves, and I bought the Pacoa markers to paint my face and stuff. Like Jeff Hardy, dude, is, and I'll give you one last rant before we go off here. I never really talked about this on a show. Like Jeff Hardy to me was more than just like an entertainer on TV. Like him growing up, like I think so much of who I am as a creative person and like tattoos and stuff, like that's because of him. Like him as an artist, like growing up watching him with the colored hair, the sleeves, the tattoos, the colorful sleeves, like and his artwork, and he like from an early age was like made me like feel okay of being like different or creative where like I can't look at a blank canvas anymore and be like, this is boring. I need to put a poster on it. I need to put something on it. Like every notebook I had, every wall that I had in my rooms, I had to put something, draw something on it because Jeff Hardy was that creative artist. And I felt like he made it okay to be different and stand out, where like he would stand out in the crowd for being who he was with his colorful hair and his tattoos and stuff. And like growing up, I feel like it was, everyone has, self-consciousness and stuff like that. And growing up, I think I always was like, I would stand out or whatever for, maybe the wrong reasons or whatever. But he gave me the confidence of like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be creative, and it's okay to like stand out in your own way of not being in the norm, because that's what Jeff Hardy was. He wasn't a normal like wrestler. He was a high flyer. He was innovative. He was an addict, and why can't I think of it? The Anatic Enigma. I think I may have mispronounced that.
Charismatic
But
enigma.
charismatic Enigma. Wow, I feel like an idiot. I'm talking about my favorite wrestler of all time. Couldn't even think of that. But and just with everything of that, but also outside the ring where he had his personal battles and demons and stuff, and for him to battle back and to get to where he is and to keep fighting back, like that's inspirational, man. Like to be able to be faced head on with some of the worst things possible in your life and to battle through it and to come out on the other side a better person, like that's inspiring. And as a 27-year-old that has been watching him for the last 20 years, like I'm more inspired of him now than I was then because of where he is now. Like seeing him in that ring last night, dude, like it was just surreal. Just for me to even think that I was in the same building as Jeff Hardy. Like that, I don't fangirl or nothing over celebrities. Like there's not like a single person that I'd be like, I would like push mountains. I would move mountains to meet them. But Jeff Hardy is the one person that I would love to he probably hears it all the time, but I would love to just talk to him and be like, dude, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you and how much like you impacted my life. Like my creativity, my tattoos, just my way of thinking of how things should be perceived and how things can stand out. Like that's because of you. And I feel like I owe him a lot of who I am as a person. And he's just an inspiration, man. He's my goat, and it's incredible to see him still going. Him and Matt, my favorite tag team.
That's really, really cool, my friend. As we wrap this up, Dante, obviously I want to say thank you for a great conversation. But the question I end this show on is, I believe as YouTubers, podcasters, even just people with social media, we're all sort of gonna live forever in a very, very strange way, if you think.
Sure.
So what is one piece of content you're like, please remember me for that? And then what is one that you're like, nah, I'm good. You can forget about that.
Well, you put you put it in the way of like you're right that like this stuff lives forever. Our digital footprint, we're always gonna be around even when we're not. My favorite, let me on. Let me think of this. Let me think of this. The best piece of content. I feel like it may have been something from. I'll go back to Lumberland days. I'm gonna say the work we did there with Mustache Bros, probably like the first video that we did, because I think that jump started everything. And I think that video is like really, it set the tone for both of us in our lives today. And I wouldn't be here if, those videos didn't blow up and people didn't watch those videos. So I would say early Lumberland wrestling videos. And then a video I wouldn't want people to watch. You know what? I don't think I have an answer for that because I put out content and like whether it's good or bad or anything like that, I put it out for a reason. And like I think stuff like that can be subjective of like some people might not like one video more than another. I don't know if there's a video I regret because I can't have regrets. I can't regret putting out a video or nothing because it's like I worked hard. If it's a video I pick, I'm like, well, I did spend time working on that and I did, put a lot of time into it. So I think every video has served its purpose. I think there are videos worse than others, but I think you need to have those bad videos as like a platform to make them better. So you need to have bad content to get better. You know what I mean? And I have plenty of it. I have plenty of it. But like there's only one way to learn, and it's to keep going and practicing and pushing out content, and then you find what works and you get better at it.
That's really, really cool, my friend. Does this video go on the good content or the bad content next?
This video goes on some of the best content that I think I've been a part of. So thank you, Tom. I genuinely mean that. Like I had such a great time. Like this did not feel like an hour 15 of us talking. Like this was a great conversation. I'm happy we got to make this work. And you're a great podcaster, man. You're a great host. You're a great interviewer. Please, like, don't like you asked me if there were things that you should change. Like, keep working on your strengths, man. And if like there are things that you think you lack on, like work on them, and make those weaknesses strengths, but really focus on your strengths because you got a lot of them. I didn't notice any weaknesses in your game and your video and this podcast. I'm amped for you and really what you're building here because you're like I'm not. This video isn't coming out till September. I'm like, damn, Tom, like you got videos lined up, like you're doing work, bro, and that's really great to see. So keep doing you. I appreciate all the compliments you gave me. Truly, like that means the world. But like you deserve your flowers too. Like you do an amazing job, and I hope for nothing but continued success for you, and you continue to build this, and you get all the happiness that you could ever want in this life.
I really appreciate that, my friend. As we wrap this up, Dante, but I'm sure the good people are already following you if they're following me. But if they're not, where can they find you, etc., my friend?
If you guys want to shoot me a follow, if you like me enough here and you want to check out my other content, you can follow me on YouTube at Dante on Deck. You can follow me on Twitter, Dante on Deck, Instagram. It's like Dante Toro. You can look me up. I don't really Twitter and YouTube are the big ones, and TikTok as well. Just look up Dante Toro, Dante on Deck. You'll find me.
It's well worth doing, guys. One of the hardest working people in this space, but one of the nicest as well. So if you guys like this, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Tom Talks Rubbish on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter or X at Tom Talks Rubbish, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye now.
Thanks for watching this Tom Talks Rubbish conversation. Before you go, please make sure you leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe to Tom Talks Rubbish on YouTube, as well as follow Tom Talks Rubbish on Twitter/X.